Step number 1. Learn to draw a plane. But even before drawing a plane, I want you to practice your drawing skills, Learn how to draw straight lines, right? You will take a piece of paper and practice drawing straight lines. Straight lines. You see? Straight lines. Like that. Straight lines like this. From all direction, right? If you cannot draw straight lines, you will have trouble drawing boxes. First, to draw boxes, you need to learn how to draw planes. Exercise yourself to draw different planes in different angles. And you have to understand where the plane will be facing. If you don't know how to make your plane face the direction you want, I have a trick for you. This triangle. If you want your plane to face downward, triangle looks down, right? And now you follow. Make sure them lines are parallel. Again, here, you see? Again, I want my plane to face this direction. This, like this, all right? It's time to just draw lines to extrude the plane, right? You see? Now we're starting to transform our planes into literal boxes. When you have mastery of the box, we then move on to 1-point perspective. Every single line are 90 degrees. So make sure to not have any convergence like this. Now, aim your line at the vanishing point. You don't even need to be perfect, but make sure to train yourself on doing this. Aim your lines, aim them at the vanishing point, right? So remember, all my lines have to be straight except for the lines that will be aiming at the vanishing point. One side is aiming, only one side, you see. Apart from that, everything is perfectly straight. You see? Now, let's say I remove this and I continue to draw, keeping in mind that my vanishing point was here, right? But it's now in my head. You will see the effect this thing causes. Remember, all my lines in 1-point perspective have to be straight except for the line that are being aimed at the vanishing point. You see the effect it's causing? Just focus on aiming your line, that's all. Remember, the vanishing point was somewhere around here, right? So it's being here. Again, same principle. Aim it, right? If your plane is here, just focus on aiming your lines. That's all. Do not worry. Aim. You see? Aim. That's it. You see? Aim your lines. aim. Now see the effects it is causing, right? If you become a master of this technique, you will be able to draw without the grid. Now, let's say I want my vanishing point to be here, right? But this time I will not draw it. I will just keep it in my mind. But remember, the vanishing point is here. So, same thing again. I just aim at the point here where I say the vanishing point will be. See? Again, I aim. Now, I come here. I aim. Come here. I aim. 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 You see, it's kind of creating a sense of perspective in itself. Vanishing points being here. And one thing also you have to keep in mind is, once you go above this point, you will start to see the bottom of the box, right? Okay. Once you're in the bottom, you start to see the top of the box. So basically, this place here, this point is your reference. If I'm above the point, I will see the bottom of the box, right? Which is here. If I'm below the point, I will see the top of the box, right? And guess what? This point is on the horizon line. This is literally it. Everything you've been taught about perspective relies on this principle. Now, Christ, thanks for all these shenanigans, but how is it going to help me draw in perspective? Okay, let's do a live demonstration. Let's say I want my drawing, I want my vanishing point to be here, right? Let's do a drawing, right? Just try to do a simple drawing like that. See? Now I'm using the same principle in a more complex way. You will see how the box will come into play. So, let's say this is my sketch, right? Even here, I am literally using boxes. I am. You can't see, but I am using boxes. Let's now lower the opacity a little bit. Okay. And let me show you. Box. Those are literally boxes. You see? Boxes. Boxes. Now, that's a box that has been manipulated like this. I did this, right? Again, I do my best to aim, right? It's not perfect, but I do my best. Can you see? That's it. This is how we use boxes to place our drawing in perspective. You see? Literally like this. I aimed, right? Now let's add a second one. You will see how this will pan out. Right, I aim again, second box. Do my best to aim. This is how I use the box to construct my drawings. You see, even the arm is a literal box. The hand is a box. Look carefully here. It's like this, right? But I'm aiming here, literally. Even if it's a shape like this, make sure you are aiming. This is a box. You can literally draw boxes like this too. You see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Literally 2 lines, triangle shape, box. Let's kind of do a simple hand, right, for her. Yes. Literal box. Okay guys, you see? Now our drawing are literally placed in perspective, right? Without using grids. Where did we start? With the box, right? We first constructed boxes and then we went in, traced on top of the box. So this is why you shall be using the box for your drawings. Having nice foundation. But this is not the end of it. We're just getting started, right? Remember to have your points. Remember to have your points always visible in your head, right? You don't even need to place them on the page once you get advanced, right? Me, I can even sketch, like literally, I can sketch without having the need to place the point on the page, right? Because in my mind, I exactly know where it is going to be, right? I exactly know what a point is gonna be, because I have been practicing for a long time, literally for months upon months, even years, right? That's the reason why I'm able to draw like this. You can guess that the point was here, right? Literally. The point was here. So step number 1 is to be able to draw the box. And let me tell you one thing. If you can draw a box, you can literally draw a cylinder. Let me show you. This is a box, right? Okay. Now, if you want to draw a cylinder, you see this right here. You will do one simple thing. See, I place my plane here. Now, what I do is I will transform this into a circle. How do I do this? Process is simple. This, you see what I did? Literally like that. That then becomes rounder and rounder, right? And we have now our cylinder. But if you skip this step and try to draw this in perspective, you will see that your cylinder will not look 3D. Just let me show you. You see, something looks weird. Something looks weird in line art. It's 2-dimensional. But if I simplify it down like this, then I think you're starting to see the difference, right? Look, this looks more 3-dimensional than this because I did not draw using curves, like straight curves like that. Nah, this I draw like this. Because drawing this in perspective is difficult, I can just place something like this in perspective, right? Let me draw cylinders in perspective for you to understand. Again, let's say my point will be here, right? Cylinders are basically boxes. Boxes. No, this is not what I wanted to do. Boxes. Let's say it's here, right? I didn't respect it pretty much, but it doesn't matter. This now you will need to add C. What am I doing? What am I doing like this? 2, 1, 2. I do not draw using curves. Basically, this square, I am transforming it like I am literally drawing a circle inside, right? But instead of doing a pure circle like this, what I do is, look here, middle part here, like this, right? Then in my refinements, in my line art, my final line art, let me show you. Clear. I can now go on top and try my best to refine it, right? How will this be useful in perspective? Let me show you. Again, I come here, refine it, this. Now look what I will do. This comes here, and this comes here. This is basically a 3D simplified cylinder, right? So if I shade this, right, it is starting to look like a cylinder, right? This is the first step. Do not be afraid. It looks kind of weird for now, but when we're gonna add the refinements, everything is going to fall into place. Again, aim for the middle part to be more precise, right? Transform it. Why? Okay, let me show you something. Why did I draw the line here instead of drawing it here like that, right? Why did I draw it here instead of drawing here? Okay, it's because this form is showing. See, let me rotate this one a little bit. Right here, you will see that there is a little form here, right? It is not two-dimensional. See, there is a side. Basically, it's like this. It's like this, and it goes like this. See? So there is the side, middle, and the other part. Even here, there are planes, literal planes. You see? So do not forget them planes. One plane here, a second plane here, and a third plane here. Right? Refinements. You see, even from the shadow, we can see it's starting to look like a cylinder. Now, what I want you to do is push. You see, this now becomes this. You see, this. But now for the bottom, I want you to make it a little bit straight, right? And the top too. Literally like that. Do not make a perfect circle like this. It's going to be complicated. Just, you see, make it like that. And after your cylinder strong, you can now round the shape a little bit more. This is just to show the three-dimensionality of your cylinder. Let me show you again. Draw like this, draw like that, this too, again, draw like this. Now I can add the roundness because the foundation has already been placed. You see now? Now it's a cylinder. Instead of doing this, always like this, you will not know where your circle is, right? Now, go here. You see how it's starting to take place? Look at my cylinder, how beautiful it is without having to draw circles. You see? That's a cylinder one. Again, here too, I can add a little bit of shading. You see? This is how you draw cylinders in perspective. Again, remember, curve here. A little bit of straight, curve. I'm just drawing on top of my art, right? On top of the sketch. Straight, just straight, add them curves. Okay. If you want, you could even do something like this. Just Let's make it here like, yes. Now I will make this part a little bit lighter, and this part too a little bit lighter. Dark, light. Now zoom out. You see the effect it's doing? Because now you have knowledge of your planes, you can literally shade your drawing. Just look. You see? Even this dark. One, I'll make it dark. You see? Let's make this part a little bit. Now, it's starting to look like you see? The effect is coming, right? This is why I taught you to add this little part here. This is for the shading, right? If I make this part dark, like that, lighter, and this part is going to be even lighter. Now let's zoom back. You see, it's starting to look like a cylinder, right? Again, I can even add another part here. Literally giving dimension to my cylinder. You see, let's zoom. It's starting to look three-dimensional. Why is that? Because I understand now the planes, right? This is why you shall not be drawing like this. Nah, this is going to be complicated for you. You need to understand the planes. Let me do it again for you to understand once and for all. First thing first, the box. If you've done this part right, you already have your cylinder. Second thing, middle part. Okay, how do I figure out the middle part? Simple, diagonal, here, middle, 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 middle. Now, if I draw through, middle, 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 right? Connect this part. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we connect it here, and you see, I'm not connecting it here. Nah, this will not look three-dimensional. Let me make it a little. Yes. See. Point 1, point 2. Connect it here. Here, this goes here. This part goes here. This part will go here. You see, same thing. Here, behind, here, and this part here. It is not 2D. First plane, second plane, right? Again. This is your cylinder. Simplified cylinder. If you can draw like this, you are already in a good place. Next part is to make it round like this, right? Now, straight. You see this? Curve. Just curve this part a little bit. Curve this part a little bit. But don't forget to add this. Like that. Curve. Again, curve. You see? Now you can draw your sphere. Again, same thing. This on itself is a plane, right? Literally, those two things, planes. This. So, right. Do not forget this. Add it here. Do not forget the tangent, the transition. Oh my God. Coming right here. Same thing apply here. But this is just in the X revision, so it's not really important. Right. Now I can shade. We'll do the same thing I did. Right. Change your values. This part becomes a little bit dark. This part light. Zoom behind. Zoom back. Let's add more definition here. Last definition. See, starting to look like something. In perfect perspective, you see. Now, where is my point? It was here for that, right? You can see that we are literally building things using boxes, right? That's the part for the cylinder. So this is why I am always using boxes to draw. So cylinder is here. If you know how to draw these, you have succeeded, my friend. The box can allow you to draw every single thing you want from imagination, right? And now that I've drawn this, I can even add another one, another cylinder. Remember, the first thing we said in the beginning is that we need to have an imaginary point. So let's say the point is here, literally, because it was going here, right? Now let me show you something cool. Let's first take this one. Imagine this is my drawing, right? I want to add a second cylinder. This is not difficult. Remember, it was here the point, but as I am going above the point, see how this is gonna look. I can even go even more, yes, like that. You see. Let me just move those things. Right. To not really take into account this other part because this is in 2-point perspective, but I'm just trying to show you something. You see. Let's add the shadow. Now, with all those principles, I will just curve it here, not add too much definition because you already know how to draw it, right? If I zoom, you will see it starting to look like it is belonging in the same perspective, right? But let me just make the shadow more like that, right? Yes. Yes. Now let's begin our shading. We did. Zoom back. Normally this part was supposed to be the darkest, but doesn't matter. I can make it darker. This part will be lighter. Just, yes, like that. If you zoom back, you can see that this belongs in the same perspective because we have respected the point, right? Again, add remember the thing we did, right? I'm just speeding things up, not to waste too much time. Again, now you know how to draw cylinders in perspective. You see, with this method, I literally have created a grid without tracing it. You see how weird this is? How do I find the horizon line? It is simple. You just have to see the planes. But to find the horizon lines in other people's illustration, you need to understand the 3D forms. This for me is enough, because once I have found this, I know where my point is, right? Because of those two lines, my point is somewhere here. Now, see how weird this is? Seems like she is with the character. It's because I have respected the perspective, right? We already have a box here, right? So I already know where my vanishing points are, right? With that, let's draw someone that is seated and looking at her, right? My guy looks like he belongs. Do you see how weird this is? Everything is basically facing this. So if you can identify the horizon line in your drawing, you will literally be able to place your characters in the perspective you want, right? This will be good for part 1. Now in part 2, we will learn to illustrate from imagination our own drawing using the same principle. So I'll see you next time.